And welcome back to the Dawn Show. We are live and we are local, and we're talking about what are you doing this week? It's already July 4th is upon us. And if you're not heading to the shore, for so many of us who are still working and we have kids, there's so much to do in Philadelphia. Please don't even bother with the shore. It's going to rain. Vince Stango from I'm just kidding. Vince Stango from the National Constitution Center is here, CEO of the National Constitution Center. There's so much to do here.
There really, really is. And it's, don't go to the shore. It is going to rain. Stay in Philadelphia. Come to the Constitution Center, Independence Mall. We've got a lot going on this week.
So take us back. I mean, you have first of all, it's the 10th year anniversary, which is huge.
It is. We're really excited about that. Opened July 4th, 2003, and here we are 10 years later. Time is certainly flies when you're having fun, but we're ready to celebrate again. And we've got a lot of great activities planned for the week. We have a great exhibition, the 1968 exhibit, but I guess maybe before we get to that, we'll talk about the July 4th activities. We've got a variety of programs, the 1776 experience with flag making and etiquette, blacksmith shops, arts and crafts, and just a variety of things to do for the kids.
And you can see on here the 1776 experience here. So it's July 2nd, tomorrow through the 4th. And the great thing for kids is to relive. I mean, the Revolutionary War encampment, the mustering, the medical tent, the blacksmith, the carpentry, the leather work. I think it all comes alive when they come here and they can see this, touch and feel, and get this great experience. So it's great, I think, for kids and adults.
It really is, and a museum is the place to do that. I think our city, the city of Philadelphia, has something really unique that no other city can boast, which is this is where the history really happened, the founding of our country. And I think for the kids to experience it, to touch it, to feel it, to wear the hats and the garb and shoot the wooden muskets, not the real muskets, they really get a sense of what life was like back then. And I think it's a great learning experience, and it's fun.
Yeah, we need some Nerf muskets. That would be
exactly
like my boys would be. No, don't give them any ideas. But I do think that it's not your ordinary museum. When you say museum, for somebody who maybe has not been, it certainly is this interactive museum, and you do a great job with even the bronze statues we showed a minute ago. You can walk through those; they're life size, and then you have people walking around who are dressed up, and it's so interactive. And so I think for anybody, it's not just your average boring museum.
It's not. There's a lot of interactivity in the area that you talked about, Signers Hall, with the 42 bronze statues. 39 of them were signers, and 3 of them were dissenters of the Constitution. Even though there's no technology in that room, it's very interactive. You walk amongst them and you really feel, you can see the image on the screen there, you really feel what it's, the power of those men that founded the country and that signed the Constitution.
Yeah, and kids love, we have the superhero Iron Man concept nowadays, and now you realize we have some real life superheroes who shaped our nation right here in the city of Philadelphia. So I think it's an important thing to do. It's important to visit the Constitution Center.
We think it's important, and those men were no different than us, no bigger, larger than life than us, and it really humanizes them. And I think is pretty powerful for the kids and for families.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Tell me about the 1968 experience.
So the 1968 exhibit opened just a couple weeks ago, and it'll be open through September 2nd. So we're kicking off a great summer with that exhibit. It's a great family exhibit. I was just there last week with my parents, who were seniors in high school in 1968, and my kids, who were about your kids' age. They're 10 and 5, and it was a great opportunity for grandparents, kids, and grandkids to walk through and really see what life was like in that year. It was a pretty amazing year, from the Tet Offensive in Vietnam to the Bobby Kennedy and Martin Luther King assassinations to the Apollo mission and the space race. It was quite a year.
Yeah, there were no iPhones. It's
hard
to
iPhones.
Imagine. But this is so great for even multi-generational, like you talked about, having the grandparents and the parents and kids to see, because then you experience this and together, and you think about where we were, where we've been, and where we're going.
It's really amazing. My oldest son voted for Bobby Kennedy in the mock election. My other son voted for Richard Nixon. So we'll be talking to him about that. But it's really a great opportunity to see how different life was, but how not so different it is. and really a great experience for the kids.
And you also have a lot of arts and crafts and hands-on things for younger kids too.
We sure do. Starting with the July 4th week, but all through the summer we have crafts for the kids. This week really focused on 1776, but in the 1968 exhibit you can actually make your own album cover, and so that's a great craft.
What a great
yeah,
idea!
A lot of fun.
And you have to explain to your young kids what a record actually is, right?
Exactly.
The vinyl. It's a collector's item.
A little different than what they're used to today.
What did your kids love the most about it? About going to this recent exhibit?
I think for them it was just seeing all these things that were artifacts to them, but really kind of reminiscent for many of us. So they really loved the music, the movies, but some of the things that they can relate to today, like there's a little section on the All-Star game and a section on the presidential election, which they're familiar with, and then right in the 1968 living room, a mock-up of the Apollo command shuttle. So really cool, exciting, but very different for them, even though it was just a few years ago for some of us.
What did it mean for you as a dad to take your kids and experience this, and your parents there? What was that like?
Well, I think for my kids, it was a great way to use history as a tool to teach about today, and that's what we do at the Constitution Center. We talk about history, we teach the history lessons, but we also apply it to what's relevant today. So I think that was really powerful in a way to talk to the kids in a way that you don't at the dinner table or at the baseball field or at the shore. Other things that you do throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, that you're having this family time and these discussions. Everybody's always on their devices nowadays, and we're not having these conversations, but probably you're talking about your family history too. In other words, what your parents were doing in '68 and so on and so forth. So it certainly brings up the family history.
It really does. It's a great way to connect with the kids and connect the kids with the grandparents. So a lot of fun.
So we can't say it strongly enough. Vince Dango, thank you so much for being here talking about the National Constitution Center. Parking is right underneath. It's such an easy thing to do and so important to take your kids. I'll be there with my kids this week.
Great.
I'm sure I'll see you. I hope to see you. We're going to be right back with more about Longwood Gardens and summer plans. It's already July 1st. Be right back.